Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, and I'm back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Was Trained by all of the Shonen Jump protagonists. This is part 34. And yep, I'm back with another new part. Best to end this year off with multiple bangers, and this is going to be the start of it. So, at any rate, go through that of a quick recap. Izuku and basically his vigilante personalities, Shadow, Ion, and the Ronin, were fighting alongside that of Mirko and All Might to take down All for One once and for all. As the battle is basically intense, thanks to that of the constant from the powers of the other worlds, All for One's quirks had to basically overcompensate and have to, overwork itself, especially his super regeneration and healing quirks as well. But it doesn't compare to the fact that all of All for One's plans have been basically caught off guard by that of Izuku figuring out who he is and who Shigaraki is as well. But then, even finding out the biggest plan of all time, that All for One plans on stealing Shigaraki's body, taking it over to steal One for All, and finally achieving his ultimate goal to become the ultimate demon lord. With that, Izuku knew what he needed to do. Put the psychotic ancient man who has lived for the past 200 years in the ground once and for all, with a combo of his most powerful attacks from his Ion self, his Ronin self, and from his Shadow self as well, being his Elemental Slash, his twin Getsuga Tensho, and his swift release Hurricane Lightning, as it nearly killed All for One, wanting to finish it once and for all. However, he was called by that of you to telling him to stop, to trust them, and that he doesn't need to bear all of the burdens of the world on his shoulders. With that, soon, Izuku releases the Shadow Clone Jutsu, with now I'm having quite a bit of things to explain. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? A day has now passed since the incident at Camino. Relief efforts to help and save as many people as they can from that disaster area is still going on strong. Not only that, there's a lot less damage in Camino than there would have been with that of All for One and All Might would have done back in the original canon timeline after all. Plus, with several heroes, especially counting that of Best Genius not being injured, with Mirko helping out, and also, you not being knocked out from helping the others save Bakugo in the original timeline, their efforts saving as many lives as they can was a lot more efficient. Thanks to that, many innocent lives that couldn't have been saved originally were. And it's all thanks to that of 3 unlikely vigilantes. However, even though Izuku's vigilante selves, Shadow, Ion, and the Ronin, did do some good work, it still caused quite a bit of a rift in that of the hero society. That All Might, the number one hero of Japan, the greatest hero of all time, the symbol of peace, couldn't take down one man. It also didn't help that almost nearing midway at the end of the fight, when the media began to finally show up, the words of All for One basically resonated with everybody, especially with those of the underground, villains who basically lived in the shadows because of All for One and All Might. Knowing his motivation, many of those of the underworld now began to become a lot more brazen and began to amp up production on their goals. Several groups, now knowing that there's a power vacuum in the underworld, will begin to act. Even with that of All Might still around, things for the heroes will not be as easy, especially on a certain issue with then suit, and that of UA, with All Might still pretty bandaged up, but not on the same degree as he would have been in canon, is in that of a staff meeting room with All Might being there, not as bandaged up as he would be back in canon, with that of Mirko also being there, with many other those from that of the Camino raid, such as Endeavor, Best Genius, Mount Lady, and also that of Gang Orca, as they were in the center of what has happened. With the staff of UA, mainly that of Aizawa, Vlad King, Nezu, President Mike, Midnight, and also Snipe as well. As the tone in the room couldn't help but feel somewhat, unease. Within, Nezu finally speaking, saying, "So, Midoriya is 3 vigilantes, Ion, Shadow, and the Ronin all this time." Within, soon, all of them couldn't help but feel somewhat frustrated, somewhat stupid, and somewhat, impressed as well. With Aizawa saying, "I have been trying to make a case for those 3 for almost the entirety of last year and this year as well. Now knowing that they have been basically under my nose, or rather, he has been under my nose this entire damn time, it's frustrating." But Vlad King couldn't help but huff, saying, "I understand how you feel, Racer. If anything, I would be pissed too, knowing that a vigilante group, or rather, one vigilante, you were basically teaching this entire time." Within suit, they begin to look at that of Mirko. Within soon, Mirko saying, "What are you looking at me for?" With soon, Beshina saying, "It seems you knew about Midoriya's actions as a vigilante all this time, and yet you chose not to bring it up." With then soon, she couldn't help but narrow her eyes a bit, saying, "Oh, come on. You really think I was going to ruin a good kid's chances of becoming a pro hero all because he was playing vigilante? And besides, back then, I wasn't even for sure if it even was Midoriya at the time. Well, I only took on that of Ion, who I thought was just a big fan and just wanted to help out people. Simple as that. And let's just say I was a little nostalgic seeing that of another vigilante after all these years." With then, after saying that quietly, her ears began to droop down a bit, almost kind of adorably in a way. With then soon, Mike saying, "Vigilantism is still vigilantism. He's even a student and he doesn't have that of his provisional hero license yet. We were planning on sending him away, but now," with then soon, Gang Orc saying, "As much as I want to say that we should basically arrest Midoriya for vigilantism and for getting in the acts of pros, think about what he did about that of Camino. You saw the footage, and you saw the destruction that All For One posed. If that kid and his clones weren't there, who knows what would have happened. We were outmatched and outgunned by All For One alone." With then Best Genius bring up the fact saying, "But he also let that of the League of Villains go." With then soon, hearing that, All Might, alongside that of Aizawa, Nezu, President Mike, and Midnight couldn't help but be shocked. Within sued, Endeavor couldn't help but narrow his eyes. All Might saying, "Young Midoriya letting the League of Villains go? But why?" With then soon remembering his words saying, back then, that they have potential to redeem themselves, that they have chance to basically become something more than just villains that society dictates them to be, that they can be something more than just what society sees them as, or what society sees their quirks as. With then soon, All Might couldn't help but sigh, saying, "I think I know the reason why." With suit, everybody looking at the number 1 pro, now more used to him being in his skinny form, given that the battle between All For One and him began to run down his clock even more. Now he only has that of 10 minutes a day to use his quirk now, which is pretty damn bad. Which means, even though he still has the embers of One For All still going through him, 10 minutes is not enough to be a pro hero. It isn't enough for the number one hero to continue standing tall among the society. Within, soon, All Might speaking, saying he believes that they can be redeemed. He believes that they can be something more. He believes that they don't have to be just seen as villains. Within, soon, Best Genius couldn't help but huff, saying that's exactly what he told us too. He said that he let them go because he believes that they're more than just villains, but they are against the law. They have committed crimes against that of the innocent, and they have done nothing but cause nothing but suffering as well. So to be fair, they are villains, and they will be put to justice. And for an aiding them, Midoriya will also be seen to be punished for his actions as well, even though he did help out take down All for One, especially added that with his vigilante charge. And I don't see him being that of a hero student or even a pro ever again in this limelight. With then soon looking down is then Mirko speaking up, saying, okay, I'm gonna call the pity party here in bullshit right here and now. With then seeing that of the rabbit hero as she's speaking up for that of Izuku, saying, you really are going to basically drop a kid who has the ability to defeat the biggest boogeyman in all of quirk history, and you're going to basically arrest him for just a few acts? Not only that, this society needs somebody like him after all. With then hearing that, everybody's completely caught off guard. With then Endeavor finally speaking up, saying, oh, then tell us, number 7. Tell us on why society needs somebody who is willing to go against the laws and break them to do whatever the hell he wishes. A person like him doesn't need to be a hero. He's nothing but just trouble and collateral damage. He's just going to do nothing but to make people suffer. Within soon, you spoke up saying, no, it's not. That's not who Izuku is. As finally, the gigantification pro hero and the girlfriend of Izuku finally spoke up, saying, I've seen what happened. I've seen on how he acts. He cares deeply about everybody. I've seen on how much of a hero he is, willing to basically step into that of the danger zone if it means protecting innocent people. Willing to basically do anything and even bear any kind of punishment and pain and suffering as long as innocent people can survive. Innocent people can live happy lives. That's just who Izuku is. Within hearing the words of the pro, within soon, Midnight, wanting to tease her, however, knowing that this isn't the teasing, as she isn't in that of a teasing mood and is more worried about her students, especially him having that of a relationship with that of a pro hero who's at least that of 10 years older than him. With then she's saying, it sounds like you truly care deeply about him. It's almost like within you spoken up and cutting off Midnight, saying, it's because I love him. I've been in a relationship with him for almost over a year, for over that of a year and a half or so, and I do not regret it one bit. With then everybody completely caught off guard, with even that of Endeavor, who is always stoic, actually have his eyes widening and shocked. Within soon, Mirko saying, knew it. Edshot owes me tons of money alongside Kamui. Oh, and Death Arms too, can't forget about him. Within hearing this, Nezu actually couldn't help but smile, saying, I thought as much. With then soon, everybody looking at that of the Chimera principal. Within, Aizawa saying, you knew? Saying, not entirely. I had suspicions. A certain pro hero who normally would travel all across that of several Tokyo district cities when first debuting, now mainly staying in that of one city, that being here in Masafu, after a certain incident. Now I know the reason why. Within, you basically shuffling in her seat, while also basically scratching her arm. With then, soon, Nezu saying, normally, having a pro hero such as you, having a relationship with that of a hero student, is normally looked down upon and is frowned. it causes quite a bit of a trouble for you and for them too. Legally, your relationship with Midoriya is no problem, given that you both are that of the legal age. However, the problem is that, again, you are a pro. You cannot be in a relationship with that of a hero student at that. You know on how certain villains have grudges against that of pro heroes. It's only Endeavor, on the other hand, who already has a family, has developed a lifestyle that will actually keep his family safe, alongside a few other pros who have families too. But even so, you may be popular, even reaching close to that of the top 10, Mount Lady, but you should have known the risk. Within, Sue, she's saying, I did, and personally, I didn't care. Because if it wasn't for Izuku, I would still be a pro heroine who didn't give a damn about saving people and only just cared more about getting money, fame, and glory. That's not the kind of pro hero I want to be anymore. The kind of pro hero I want to be is somebody that he can admire and trust in once he debuts as well. That's the kind of person I want to be now. Not within hearing the conviction and the determination in her voice. Many of the pros couldn't help but admire that passion, especially Mirko, Midnight, and surprisingly, even Aizawa. But still annoyed at the fact that his student is dating that of a pro, or even dating in general at all, because that's basically a waste of time for his training. But then soon, Aizawa began to come to the realization, as he's about to speak up, soon Best Genius speaks up again, saying, "That's great and all, Mount Lady. I am happy for your relationship and how determined you are to do better as that of a pro. But even so, your relationship and also falling in love with that of an elite, with that of a now known criminal, is going to cause quite a bit of a trouble for you as well as your career goes on. Especially since Midoriya himself has no right to act as he is, especially being that of a minor as well." Within, soon, Aizawa spoke up, cutting Best Genius off, saying, "Now that's where you're wrong." Within, soon, Aizawa couldn't help but speak up, saying, "It's about Midoriya. Physically, he still looks like that of a 15 to 16-year-old, but technically, he's actually older than that." Within, everybody is shocked and surprised, except that of the UA staff. With the pros can't help but think, with Gang Orca saying, "Are you saying that Midoriya has been lying about his age all this time?" But then, Nezu saying, "I think I see where you're going with this, Aizawa." With him smirking, saying, "Technically, no. He's still technically 16 years old, actually. He's actually mentally older because of his quirk." Within, soon, Endeavor saying his quirk, with soon remembering that he thinks that Izuku may have some kind of relationship with All Might, given that he has taken special treatment into him after all. Possibly maybe be that of his son, even though they don't have that of the same quirk. Quirks are not always genetic. They can always change after all, especially from that of distant genes from other family members. Within, Nezu saying, "You see, Midoriya, in that of the government registry, Midoriya and his family lied about his quirk. On his quirk registry for the government, his quirk is called multi-quirk, allowing him to gain that of new quirks the more that he grows and grows stronger, and the more that he ages. But that's not the case at all. You see, the abilities that he has are not quirks at all." Within, everybody is shocked, hell, except you, though, who is aware of Izuku's quirk as well. With Gang Orga saying, that's impossible. That can't be. With then, soon, Nezu, alongside Aizawa, and even All Might himself as well, began to, even you, add some things too, and explaining about Izuku's quirk, and that he's technically mentally older than all of his students, and possibly the same age as that of a pro, with then soon finally coming to this realization, Best Genius, Gang Orca, even Mirko alongside Endeavor, couldn't help but be shocked and surprised. Within Endeavor saying, all this time, there's basically there is a such thing known as multiverse theory. That entire concept is completely real. It's ridiculous, but yet it makes too much sense now. Within, Bestine is saying, now I can understand why you were all doing your best to defend the boy. With a quirk like his, a quirk that basically allows him to travel to other worlds and learn these unique abilities or gain new weapons to help him improve as well. He's basically the ultimate, and even with his ideas of heroism and justice as well, he's basically the perfect pro. That would be a damn shame to get rid of him. With then soon, Mirko saying, I think you've seen the part here, Genie. With then, Bestine is going to help but narrow his eyes at that of Mirko, with her saying, he doesn't see himself as a pro. The kid always saw himself as a hero, just a person just wanting to help others and do good, not really caring if he had a license or not. After all, I did basically intern the kid and mentor him for his internships. After all, I've seen what he's capable of. All he does is basically try to beat villains with the less amount of collateral damage and as quickly as possible. But seeing how he's even willing to basically kill if it's necessary, basically proves as well. It shows, especially during that summer camp, after all. But giving those things were corpses, yeah. With then soon, All Might saying, not to mention he also brought up the fact that he was okay. He did kill that of Moonfish, and he also killed that of Muscular, one of the other villains that were there. And I looked up the man's file before coming here. He was an S-class villain, known to be that of a psychopath who just ran around killing people any way he wished, any way he wanted. And knowing the fact that he's now gone, I could feel that some people, some of the families, even that of Mandalay, a member of the Wild Wild Pussycats, who lost that of her cousin and his wife in an attack to try and stop him, can basically rest easy knowing that he's gone. I still can't condone it. However, I think we should stop being hypocrites when knowing the fact that even some of us pros have killed people if it means it's that of a last resort. With then, soon hearing that, some of them have looked down as Endeavor, alongside that of Mirko, even that of Gang Orca, have killed a few villains here and there when they refuse to stand down and refuse to change. However, they were mainly from pros who either were desperate or not willing to stand down unless they have a reason not to. They never actually gone against that of psychopathic villains who basically enjoyed killing, like that of Muscular and Moonfish, unfortunately. Within, Bestine is cut out but sigh, saying, all right. I understand where you're all coming from now. You don't want to get rid of this boy, and you want to continue helping him in his journey to become that of a pro hero. And seeing his capabilities and everything that he's gone through, and everything that he's willing to do to protect the innocent and save lives no matter what, I have to say he truly does embody the ideas of a hero. Laws be damned, if I have to say, even though the very ideas disgust me. Within, the number 4 pro finally coming to his senses with then soon. Before Endeavor saying, hold up there, I can understand where you're all coming from as well. And as much as I hate to loathe the idea of letting Midoriya do whatever the hell he wishes and not see any consequences, let's also bring the fact that that there was media coverage of his vigilante selves taking down All for One. The fact that some people have even found out the truth that Midoriya alone was even able to kill those Nomus during that summer camp fiasco were outside of his hospital room. But then soon, you coming to the realization saying, oh no. Within Nezu saying, I figured that as well. I wonder how young Midoriya is taking all of this. Currently, in that, on that of the news, basically airing outside of all of Japan, as a male news reporter with that of glasses and that of two horns. However, one of the horns seemed cut off, saying, "It seems with the issues at the communal ward and the efforts of helping out and rebuilding the city going on ahead, so many of us wish to know, how did the vigilantes known as the Shadow, Ronin, and Ion were able to take down the greatest evil of all time, all for one? However, what if these three vigilantes are not just one, or not three people, but are actually one? Theories say that these vigilantes may be that of one hero student. We cannot give the information of this hero student at the time, but let's just say that this boy has quite a bit of a future ahead of him, and an ordeal as well." With that, soon it led to everybody, some people outside of hero hopefuls or people who don't really give a damn about heroes at all, not really caring. However, the media, who basically wants that of a huge scoop and story and want to post up their ratings, or basically some people who basically want to know if it's true, found out that it might be Izuku. With now knowing where with some people knowing on where Izuku lives, actually doing their research out, to be honest. However, with many reporters standing out front of his apartment complex. However, little do they know, no one's actually at the house, because currently his mother, Inko, is staying with that of their family friend, the Bakugos, currently drinking tea with that of her lifelong friend, Matsuki Bakugo, as drinking the tea is basically easing that of her nerves. But then Matsuki saying, "So, feeling a little better, Inko?" As then the plump greenette woman couldn't help but sigh, saying, "I think it's helping at least a little bit. Yes." I can't believe this. All of this is because of Izuku wanting to help people. With then soon Matsuki saying, "I can't really blame him. He's always been that of a good kid wanting to save and protect people. If anything, I blame those damn ravagous vultures basically trying to get an interview with the brat, not even caring about you or his personal space." I wonder how long this is going to last. With then soon, Bakugo's dad, Matsaro, basically brings more tea before saying, given on how they were like with that of certain new pros around, especially when they have an agency, with then drinking his own tea, saying, "Most definitely they'll probably be there for at least another good week or so." The news about him basically most likely being that of the three vigilantes who stopped that evil man, Ikamino, is still there. And as much as I don't like to admit it, given that the hospital did also bring the fact that he was still in his hospital room all this time, but also finding out about his other abilities and quirks, it just makes sense. Oh, I'm sorry, Inko. I didn't mean to. With then soon, Inko feeling somewhat down and worried. With then, soon, Mitsuki couldn't help but glare at her husband as he shudders down for a bit, before basically sighing at her actions and also at her friend, trying to comfort her, saying, "It will be okay. Knowing him, he'll be all right. Also, I hope that damn brat of mine doesn't get jealous of him. He's always been like that. Even though he's mellowed out for at least a couple of months or so, he can still have that of a goddamn ego after all." Then Inko kind of feeling somewhat happy, but also still worried for her baby, especially since it was him that gave her the information to head over to that of the Bakugos after all. Currently, right now, Izuku is at that of his training spot, all the way in the outskirts of Masafu, and nearing that of the woods. With there being that of Bakugo, surprisingly Kirishima's there alongside that of Momo, and Ochako as well, as he already gave the rundown to that of Ochako and Momo about his quirk and about him being a vigilante, of course, or vigilantes. But to Kirishima, he also had to bring that up as well, with Kirishima completely and totally shocked, saying, "Seriously? You've been a vigilante all this time, dude?" Within saying, "Yeah, pretty much. I only told you this because you have the right to know just as much as they do, since I've been trying to help you out, trying to use the Nen after all." Within, Kirishima saying, "Now that actually makes so much sense. You told me that that all of those abilities that you have weren't quirks, but actual abilities that people can learn. So that's why you had those abilities as well. Man, I'm so impressed and awestruck. But also finding out that you were also there at Camino, man, that was crazy." Within, soon, Izuku came up and scratched the back of his head before sighing, saying, "There's a chance that UA is going to kick me out, and I may also be on the run after this happens." Within, soon, Momo couldn't help but feel somewhat down, saying, "And it's kind of your own fault, we understand. But surely they had to know that." Within, Ochako saying, "Yeah, maybe if we can also speak up on your behalf, they could." Within, Bakyo saying, "Quit it, you two. No way in hell that they're just going to save space after all. That's just how they always are." Within, everybody looking at the ashen blonde, with him explaining, saying, "Look, as much as how much of a powerful ass quirk that Deku has, and all the abilities that he has as well, are good and all, but you gotta save face. When people find out that he is basically a vigilante that took out all of those villains, and when they also put two and two together at that of the summer camp as well, UA is going to be under quite a bit of fire. It's good. Sure, Deku may have basically saved UA's asses from here and there time to time, and also protected many of the students as well. But even so, no way in hell they're basically going to allow a vigilante student on their premises. That's just how it is. Right, Deku?" Within, Izuku having that of a sad smile on his face, before saying, "Pretty much, Kachan. No way in hell. That's why you went there, to tell me things ahead of time. I'm prepared to basically go on the run and do things. Hell, if I need to, I can also stay in that of another dimension for at least a good amount of years, possibly even for that of several years, all the way until that of a month goes by, waiting for the heat for me to go die down. By that time, no one can basically come after me. So till then, I just want to say that this may be a goodbye." Within hearing this, both Ochako and Momo began to tear up. Within soon, Kirishima also begins to have that of tears of frustration as well. Before Bakyo saying, "So you really are just running away from this," saying, "Well, it's either that or stay here and cause a lot of trouble. And currently right now, Camino is basically the least amount of our problems." Within hearing that, soon, Ochako saying, "What do you mean, Deku?" Soon, Kirishima saying, "Yeah, man, what's more important than you not being around UA anymore?" Within, soon, Momo wiping the tears from her eyes while still having to have a sad look, saying, "You're talking about that villain, All for One, right?" Within, Izuku nodding, saying, "Yeah. If my time as a vigilante has shown me, in the underworld, there's always people who are basically the top dogs, the ones keeping that of certain villains in check. Sure, heroes do that as well, but heroes basically stop villains from doing anything that could basically hurt innocent people, preventing them to cause any more problems. However, there are some villains who basically keep things in check. All for One was that villain keeping basically every villain in check from the underground. With now him gone, there's a vacuum. A vacuum where every villain all across Japan will act. Even within soon, Kirishima saying, "You say that pretty confidently. I mean, what about All Might? I mean, we still have the symbol of peace and the number one hero. He'll stop them." With then soon, Bakyo couldn't help but scoff, as he's aware, saying, "Not likely." As he internally thinks and remembers back at Camino, especially remembers his conversation before the before his little meeting at that of UA back on Dagobah Beach. Within Bakugo's eyes couldn't help but shock, saying, "You plan on retiring?" Saying, "I can only use one for all for only that of 10 minutes left, young Bakugo. After this day, I'm leaving the rest to you and young Midoriya. Sure, All for One may now be put away in bars once and for all. Hell, I even hear that he's even barely even alive. Still into a coma, actually. But now there's nothing left for me to do but leave the rest to you two." But then Bakugo screams out, "I'm aware that Deku is going to be removed from UA. Why the hell do you still want to leave things to not just him, not just to me, but also him as well?" Within soon, All Might saying, "Because I trust everything to both of you. Because even though young Midoriya doesn't have my quirk, he doesn't have one for all, unlike you. He still bears all the embodiments that I live to as well, wanting to save everybody with a smile on his face to protect the innocent. You may have my quirk and have my determination to always stand up the top to reassure everyone that everything will be okay. But he will keep my ideals alive as well. That's why I trust everything to you two. As for a situation at UA, I'll do whatever I can to prevent that from happening. Just keep that, as I promise." Within soon, hugging Bakugo, saying, "Keep things I just leave the rest to you. Because it's your turn now, young Bakugo." After that, Bakugo began to tear up, knowing that his idol, that the person that he admires the most, is no longer the number one hero. After the next day, with then soon Bakugo getting out of his flashback. Before then, soon Izuku's phone begins to ring, as it's being from you, saying, "It's you." As then putting her on speakerphone, saying, "Hey, you're on speakerphone, you. So how'd it go?" With then she's saying, "About the verdict, well, I have that of good news and bad news." Within hearing this, with soon you spoken saying, "Good news is you're not getting kicked out of UA and you're not going to jail for your actions at Kamino." Within hearing that, everybody's completely shocked. Even Bakugo, with all of them say, "What?" Within you saying, "Oh, I knew you said I was on speakerphone, but even I was caught off guard with that." Saying, "Yeah, sorry. You were saying, yeah, turns out all the pros alongside that of the faculty of UA will prevent that from happening. They're also going to do whatever they can to basically lead the tracks back to you off your trail. Best thing to do that is doing that of a new system that Nezu was actually planning on doing for the next couple of weeks or so. So I'm giving you guys a heads up. Prepare to hear your homeroom teachers and even All Might basically come to your houses for that of an opportunity of the dorm system." With hearing that, soon Ochako and Momo, alongside that of Kirishima, couldn't help but get excited. With them, soon Bakugo spoke up saying, "And the bad news?" With then, everybody stopped celebrating except that of Izuku, who wasn't, as he was preparing for that. With you saying, "Bad news is you'll be heaped under that of a short lease. Several pro heroes will basically be keeping an eye on you from now on. I actually suggested myself to actually keep an eye on you, but now that they know that I'm in a relationship with you, no chance in hell that they're going to allow that." Within soon hearing that, both Momo and Ochako couldn't help but feel somewhat down about that. Within Izuku saying, "So, who's going to keep an eye on me?" Within, she's saying, the pros being Headshot, Best Genius, and Hawks as well. With that, everybody was completely caught off guard by that, except Izuku saying, "All right, best genius, Nedshot, I'm completely caught off guard with that." However, Hawks, on the other hand, with then thinking about the current number 3 pro, with thinking he's the only pro that has no records and its information on who he is after all. Everyone knows that his hero name. Let's also bring up the fact that he is the first truly government-sponsored pro hero, one of the few many from the HPSC. Knowing that he was suggested to be one of my handlers, well then, it only makes sense now. Within hearing that, Izuku saying, "Thanks for telling me, you. I appreciate it." Saying, "Anything for you, babe. Just trying not to let everything get to you, okay?" Saying, "Don't worry, it won't. Promise." With that, soon he hangs up after saying he loves her. Before then, soon Kirishima saying, "Well, at least there's a good side about this. You won't be kicked out of UA." Saying, "Yeah, I won't. But it also means I won't be a vigilante for the next couple of while. However, that happens. That also leads back to me. The fact that I'll be basically under the jurisdiction and living under UA, meaning the fact that people will basically put 2 and 2 together and realize that I may be the vigilantes, that if they don't show up anymore." Within hearing that, it causes quite a bit of a trouble. But then soon, Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, "Good thing I'm prepared for this." With then soon going over to that of a opening tree, pulling out that of 3 duffel bags. With then soon putting in the hand sign saying, "Shadow Clone Jutsu." With soon, the 3 clones of Izuku began to appear. As then they open up the bags and began to show that their vigilante costumes are still inside. Within soon, Ochako saying, "Izuku, what are you doing?" Saying, "Only thing I can do." They believe that I am Midoriya. However, if they see basically the 3 vigilantes and Midoriya all together, especially the fact that I'm in UA while these 3 are basically not active like how they used to be, that could cause quite a bit of suspicion to be on me. Also, their main duty is to also keep an eye on how the underworld is going to act when All For One is now out of power. So that's their main purpose too. Within hearing this, soon Bakugo couldn't help but scoff, saying, "You planned this from the very start. Either you got out of UA or you stayed with UA. You knew something like this was going to happen." Saying, "Pretty much. Gotta have foresight for stuff like this." As Izuku giving that of a comforting and somewhat, excited smile on his face, before internally thinking, "I just need to make sure to keep up with the League. Not just keep up with that of the underworld as well. I want to make sure that Shigaraki is safe and that he can change after all. That's what matters the most." Then soon, Kirishima basically wrapping his arm around that of Izuku's neck, saying, "Hey, now that we know that you're not going to get expelled or arrested, how about we celebrate? Come on, I know this awesome place where they sell ice cream, especially certain ice cream that actually helps with that of bodybuilding after all." With then, soon, Izuku would say, all right. We'll follow your lead," Kirishima saying, "Come on, guys." Within, soon, all of them began to follow, with Bakugo the only one left behind. Within, soon, seeing that of the 3 vigilante cells, within realizing, so you really just doing this just to keep you off the trail, or is this another reason? Within, soon, one of them stopped. One of them was about to become that of Ion, saying, "We plan on helping out the League. And we don't mean that we're going to help them become villains. We're going to help them from becoming villains ever again." With them, soon, Bakugo can help but narrow his eyes before Ronin Izuku spoken up, already having that of his kimono on his back, saying, We plan on we're going to prevent them from becoming villains anymore. Throughout everything we've done, we can tell that Shigaraki is basically disillusioned to that of all for one, especially the fact about his little rant to that of the heavens on the news. Once he finds this out, he's going to be lost, unaware of what he's going to be doing. That's where we come in. We're going to help them become something more than just the drags of society. We're going to help them become something more. Maybe even a vigilante group if need be. But then Baki saying, you're way too damn optimistic. Saying, no. Within all three of them saying, we're just wanting to do the right thing. After all, just as our master said, sometimes just being there for people at their worst is what truly matters the most. Well then, after saying that, Bakugo couldn't help but be shocked and surprised before realizing that this is what All Might meant about entrusting not just him with One for All, but with Izuku, with his ideals. But then Bakugo couldn't help but feel somewhat frustrated, but also somewhat happy at the same time, saying, all right, do what you want. I don't care what you do, you damn nerd. Just don't cause any trouble for yourself and your mom anymore. That's all I'm gonna say. With that, Bakugo walks off, but with that of a smile. But then soon the three clones couldn't help but smirk, saying, we know. As now, with All for One now gone, what will the future hold for all of Japan? And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, how did you guys like this part? This was mainly just the aftermath, covering that of what happened after the battle between Izuku's vigilante clones and All for One after all. And now with the pros knowing on who Izuku is, they would basically have that of a debut on what they would want to do with him. Of course, they're going to keep him keep him. He's basically the ultimate future pro after all. Reached top 10 status as soon as he graduates UA, to be honest. But of course, they're pros and they don't take people going against that of the law so easily after all. So there's that too. So of course, the debate would be deciding on what's better, the current law or the future of protecting society. So yeah, that would be the dilemma. But of course, everybody knows on what's more important, to be honest. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, get to date my videos when I upload on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my Patreon, alongside my other channel, and Cash App. All link in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and take care. All yours, Shiro. Do your thing.
Hi, everyone. This is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!